everyone this afternoon. Glad to have all of our participants in the audience with us today. There are agendas back here at the back podium if anyone would like to pick one up and follow along with us. And if anyone would like to address the council, we do have that time that's in our agenda. We just ask that you sign in the back there so we'll know to call on you. But at this time, I'd like to introduce Pastor Salone Green. He's with the Carpenter Road Church of God. Pastor Salone, if you'd like to come to the podium here, we appreciate you being here with us this evening to offer our prayer for our community. And following that, then I'm going to call on Councilman Jack Falk to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay,
So
great.
Thank you.
Pastor Smith, Mayor Smith, it's good to be with you tonight and all the city representatives. So I'm going to pray for the meeting.
Thank you.
Father, thank you for your blessings upon our lives as individuals, Lord. You blessed us in so many ways, and then collectively, your blessings upon this meeting tonight, your blessings of peace and your blessings of favor. And we ask that you would direct the affairs of this meeting and the affairs and the plans and directions of our city leaders as they point us, Lord, toward prosperous things, toward ideas that would help us to represent unity and togetherness as a city, as a county, as a community. And we ask that as we work together, that you would be glorified, that we would not work for selfish agendas or by selfish motives, but we would seek your will and your direction in everything we do. We ask it in the sacred name of Christ. Amen.
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 Thank you, Pastor.
Stand for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There it comes, Wes. Okay, I'll give Wes just a minute to get situated. Gentlemen, you have a copy of the agenda that was emailed to us in our council packet that was sent to us by our city clerk, who does such a fabulous job. So at this point in time, unless there are any changes to that agenda, I will take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Also in our packet was Jessica sent us the minutes of our previous meeting. We've had an opportunity to review those. So unless there are any changes, I will take a motion to have those minutes approved.
So moved.
Thank you. Johnny, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is we have a couple of new board members that are joining some of our City of Tifton boards. So I'd like to invite Susan Green. Susan, if you'll join me down front. And we appreciate very, very much your willingness to serve this community. And you do a lot of stuff for a lot of people. And I know personally that Susan goes to my church and she does a great job. And we're very excited to swear you in this evening for the Zoning Board of Appeals. We very much appreciate your service. So what I'm going to do is I will read the oath of office, and then at the completion of my reading, if you'll just say I affirm or I do. On to the next. Oh, thank you. All right, so your oath says, I, Susan Green, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties as a member of the Tifton Zoning Board of Appeals of this city, and that I will support and defend the Charter of the City of Tifton as well as the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia and of the United States of America. I shall attend all meetings of the body to which I have been appointed unless providentially hindered. I shall abide by the standards for conflicts of interest adopted by the City Council and the rules of disclosure applicable thereto. Unless disqualified by the standards for conflicts of interest, I shall actively participate in all decisions of the body to which I have been appointed. I shall attend at city expense any training mandated by the state of Georgia. I shall also attend as scheduled any special training by the City of Tifton. Do you affirm? Well, congratulations. It's now official. Thank you so much. All right, and Susan, Jessica will get with you. She'll have some information for you later on. So, okay, thank you. Now I'd like to call Mr. Ray Cross. Mr. Cross, how are you this evening, sir? All right. And we will do the same thing. Ray has volunteered to serve on the Tifton Historic Preservation Commission. So we appreciate that very much. And I will administer the oath, and then same question at the end. The oath says that I, Ray Cross, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties as a member of the Tifton Historic Preservation Commission of this city, and that I will support and defend the Charter of the City of Tifton as well as the Constitution and laws of the State of Georgia and of the United States of America. I shall attend all meetings of the body to which I have been appointed unless providentially hindered. I shall abide by the standards for conflicts of interest adopted by the City Council and the rules of disclosure applicable thereto. Unless disqualified by the standards for conflicts of interest, I shall actively participate in all decisions of the body to which I have been appointed. I shall attend at city expense any training mandated by the State of Georgia. I shall also attend as scheduled any special training arranged by the City of Tifton. Do you affirm? Well, thank you. We appreciate your service. So you are now an HPC member. And I just want to remind everyone, we do very much appreciate the service of our citizens. We rely on these boards to help make decisions for this community, and without their time and service, that would not be possible. So we greatly appreciate their participation. And if you are interested in volunteering for a board, there are other positions available in the city. Just see Jessica White, our city clerk, and she'll be glad to help you with that process. Jessica, did anybody sign in for public comment? No? Okay. All right. All right. On our agenda, I do want to let everyone know that we have the agenda and the items that we'll be voting for. We did discuss at our workshop a couple of weeks ago. So some items we may discuss further, some we may not, but the consent agenda is presented before you. We can take those items individually, or we can take them all together, whatever is your pleasure. So if anyone would like to make a motion one way or the other.
Let's take them all at once.
Take them all at once? Okay. Do you want to make a motion to approve?
I move to.
Okay, so to approve all items on the consent agenda. Okay, so we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on any of these items? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approving all items on the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. If you'll recall, we've had quite a bit of discussion about our Urban Redevelopment Agency, and we were all asked to submit names of any individuals that we'd like to be considered for the creation of the new Urban Redevelopment Agency. And I know Pete sent those. We all sent them to Pete, and he sent them back out to us. Are there any other names we need to add to that list? I think we've got a pretty decent list of what, 9?
You have 9, yes. And,
9 potential candidates?
Rob's going to go over just the details, and then the resolution is in your packet. The resolution is done. The only thing left to do is plug in names
Okay,
for terms. So that's the only thing left for us to do.
okay,
Yeah, so basically, what you would do in passing this ordinance, that basically activates your urban redevelopment agency. And of course, it has to have 7 members, have those names. There's staggered terms. So of the 7, 4 of those commissioners will serve for 3 years. 2 of them will serve for 2 years, and 1 of them will serve for 1 year. So when you're considering your appointments and your nominations, consider what term you would like that person to serve. Also, you'll need to elect 1 as a chairman and 1 as a vice chairman.
okay.
Mayor Council, just you have the option. We have 9 names, so if you'd like to, we could reach out to them to see if they're willing to serve.
I think that would be beneficial before we start plugging people into this document.
That's right. And if we have enough, we could do 2 alternatives.
Okay.
And or if they have some other special requests, we could do that. Have that ready for you on June. We could adopt it, and we'll be ready to go. Because that really was the goal, to do this by June.
Sure. I like that idea, if y'all are okay with that. And if you or Jessica could reach out to all of these individuals and just confirm that they would be willing to serve. And I guess we'll need to confirm that they are City of Tifton residents. I think I think they are. I know they're required to be, so to confirm that as well. So that would be good if you don't mind doing that. Is there any other name that y'all would like to submit so that we can make that part of the part of the discussion as they make the calls. Are there any other names you'd like to consider? I think we all submitted a good list of names, so, okay, all right, very good, okay. So there's no action to be taken on that tonight then, just, okay, we'll come back to that. All right, the next item on our agenda is the, let's see, let me get back to my recommendation for contract negotiations, the RFP for solid waste recycling and disposal services. This is under a new business.
Mayor, I move that of the current contract with Golden Environmental, the city of Tifton begin the collection of yard debris and bulk items, and authorize the city manager to negotiate with Golden Environmental on a new contract for the collection of residential garbage, including recyclables and commercial trash. Second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. We'll open the floor up for any discussion.
Yes, I'd like to make an amended motion. I would move that we negotiate a one-year contract extension with Golden Environmental to give us time to assess whether it's feasible for us to take yard waste in-house.
Okay, so we have an amended motion. Is there a second to that amended motion?
Second.
Okay. All right, I'm going to defer to my city attorney on Robert's Rules of Order. At this point, the motion takes precedence. Is that correct?
That's correct. And,
Okay.
basically, it might be good to restate what that amended motion is, make sure we're all clear. As I understand it, the main motion was that Golden negotiate a contract with Golden for the collection of yard debris, bulk waste, residential garbage, recyclable, and commercial. And then Councilman Sales sought to amend that to provide for the contract to be no more than 1 year. So
Okay.
that's-
1 year and for us to assess whether it's feasible to take yard waste in-house.
How are we gonna measure that?
We would need to look at everything as far as costs, as far as what it would take to do it.
We be able to do that in 6 months?
Well, we also to buy equipment,
Well,
you may have to hire personnel.
you'd have a year.
That's why it's
to make-
effective January 1st. The contract currently ends at the end of the year, right?
That's correct. The
So we got-
contract, the current contract that
Current
we're under
contract. So we got
ends December 31st.
Well, my understanding is that if we're going into solid waste, going into yard waste collection, we'll need to start buying equipment next month.
I do think that it would be, I do think we need more evaluation of the cost for the city to provide this service. In talking with various garbage companies and doing our research and our due diligence through this process, it's been posed to me that it would be questionable if the city can do it as efficiently and effectively as a garbage company. We also looked, if you'll recall, the RFPs were for pickup every other week on the recycling and the yard trash and the bulk waste. We might want to look at going to every week pickup. I think it would give us the opportunity to work with Mr. Golden. I don't disagree that we need to work with Mr. Golden, so let me go ahead and make that statement very clear. But I do think that it would be beneficial to sort of slow down the process on the city of Tifton taking on this new department in the event that we make any changes down the road. We're talking about how much would it cost to get this department up and running? At least $1 million, is that correct?
Well, it's gonna be 600,000 plus, just
Okay.
to get us something
Okay.
going.
So that's the concern.
Yeah,
is
that's
if-
what concerns me too.
But the numbers, we've talked, and Wes and I have talked with Pete, we've worked through the numbers. This proposal would be every week, and we would have to go up less than $1 a month to accomplish this.
Well,
I'm sorry, y'all.
What?
I apologize. Maybe we might need to backtrack just for a second. As I understand it, Councilman Folk, you were talking about the city of Tifton doing yard debris and bulk.
That's correct.
Councilman Sales, are you suggesting that Golden continue with,
My motion is that Golden continue with that for the next year.
okay. And when you talk about a year contract, just so we're on the same page, are you talking about a year continuation from his December contract for another year to the
That's
following
correct.
December?
Until December of next year.
At his current rate?
That's negotiable.
Well, what we,
That would be a new contract, wouldn't it?
It'll be a new contract for 1 year.
what we've got to do is get to a point where we can get our city manager to the table to negotiate something with somebody.
That's what this motion is.
So, I understand, but you're asking him to create this department with the city, or ESG, in essence.
In the next 6.5 months.
So, but, I'm not ready to
Yeah,
go
I'm
to
not, I'm
that
not ready
step.
to do that. I think, I can't see spending $600,000 for something we may not need right now. I don't think that's a feasible course to go. I would rather take time to study it in depth, so I'm 100% sure that's the way to go.
And, and I will say this, I have had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Golden, and we've had some very positive conversation. I think that, I think we've all seen, for lack of a better term, stepping up to the table, stepping up to the plate to provide better service. And I just feel like we need to give him that opportunity before we go create a brand new department. I don't think that would be the best thing for the city of Tifton to expend that money if Mr. Golden can take care of the issues that we've had with yard waste and bulk waste pickup.
Well, and I hear you, but if we truly want to clean up the city, the best one to do that is the city of Tifton, because we have these bad loads. Richard gets caught in the middle of them.
There's
What
no
does he
question
do?
about that.
What is it, you're gonna have that with any vendor that you have. And so, if we're gonna kick the can down the road a year, which to me, makes no sense, and we've looked at it every which way, that we can. So I don't know what's gonna happen in a year that's any different, now, and 95% of our issues are bulk waste and yard debris.
Well, I
That's
think-
not gonna change.
I think one of the things that would be different, that would be helpful and beneficial, and Mr. Golden has talked about this, is putting in place a manager, a liaison, if you will, to work with the city to deal with code enforcement issues, and that's a missing piece of the puzzle that we have not had. And so to have that person, so that he can be out driving the garbage truck if that's what he wants to be. This person would not be riding on the garbage truck. This person would be the person that would be contacted if the driver says, hey, I'm over here at 123, West 4th Street, and there's a pile that we're not supposed to pick up. I need you to send city code over. There's no question that Richard and his company as drivers get caught in the middle, but by having this inner layer, this next layer of someone to help provide customer service and training and safety compliance and reports to the city, I think we'll see a significant difference in the yard debris and the bulk waste, which is where we're having the most problem. I just have some heartburn right now expending the money for the creation of a whole new department, 4 or 5 new employees, the cost of the trucks, et cetera. I feel like we need to give Mr. Golden one more opportunity to say, yes, we've discussed this is what we'd like for you to do. Get Pete to the table with him to renegotiate the terms of the contract and the extension, and we'll know in a year. If it's not working, we can come back and say, okay, we tried everything, Richard, this part's just not working, let's just have you do the recycling and the garbage can pickup, and then we can create this department. No harm, no foul. We won't be any worse off for the wear by delaying the creation of this department if we don't need it. That's my only point.
I just don't want to rush into to create a new department with just a couple of weeks of discussion in council about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is a significant move forward. It's talking about a lot of money,
This
equipment,
isn't new.
personnel.
We've been talking about this a
Oh, I know.
while.
We've not been talking about the city taking over
For
yard waste.
months, we've been talking
But
about it.
this
We
is,
haven't done it in the
We haven't had
meeting,
any
but we
hard
have been
numbers.
chatting with one another, with
But this
Pete.
is-
Pete's relayed information
but
to
this
us.
is the thing. The good, let me point out the good part of this discussion that we're having. We're all in consensus that we want to keep the contract with the garbage provider that we have. So we're not debating that. So we're all in consensus there. We're all in consensus that we want to keep him picking up what's the term, Pete, just the trash and the recycling. We're all in consensus on that, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
for 1 year.
So my question is, would you two be willing to compromise and delay the creation of a whole new department till the end of June of 2020? Because I have a feeling, I think Richard can provide, Richard, you're sitting here, do you mind if I call on you?
Absolutely.
Can you do that? I mean, is that something that you can do as far as providing the excellent service on the, I know we've talked about a lot of different things and thrown a lot of different ideas out, but you and I did talk about the fact that, you know, could the city do it as efficiently as you? Probably not. You're
did.
prepared to pick that,
We did.
to pick up and take
that's,
that and
you
run
know,
with it?
that's the biggest task out there.
Yeah.
Largest task.
No question.
No doubt. And different times of the year, it's greater than others. I'm flexible with that, to see
Yeah.
go to that once a week routing to try to see how that works. You know, I'm flexible there.
And I think that's
we'll
the
need some
point.
discussion on, you know, when we would start at the end of this current contract, or, you know, whatever we worked out there. I mean, you know, I'm willing to try that. I do understand
guess
getting
that's-
back into that,
Yeah.
is, you know,
And I-
sizable.
And all I'm asking is that we can, before we go create this department, let's give the current provider the additional opportunity of time to see if we can make this work with the addition of that management, that liaison.
Absolutely.
That would work very closely with code, would work very closely with our city management, would work very closely. We haven't had that. That's, I think, in my opinion, has been sort of a missing piece of the puzzle.
Well, we've got a contract that needed some gaps and, you know, as far as the size of the pile. Okay, well, if everything within the pile meets the requirements of it's not too big and this kind of thing, I don't care if the pile's 3 blocks long. It should be
Right.
picked up.
Right.
But this thing of, well, it's too big, so I'm not gonna pick any of it up, well, that's ridiculous. Okay, because somebody cleans up their yard, which, by the way, that's what we want to happen.
Yeah.
Is everybody clean their yard up, and so it's a huge pile, pick it up. If it has a big tree in there, no, you don't have to pick it up.
Yeah, but that's
So
where
it's
that-
That's why we're
those-
negotiating a new contract.
It's those issues.
Spell some of those issues out.
But are-
Absolutely, and our current contract doesn't spell that out.
I agree.
So, I do agree we need some.
So what we're saying is that we'll wait a year, and you say a year, what, January of 2021,
Oh, January 2020.
December of.
or December
Uh-huh.
2021, the only question will be, does the city take over yard debris and bulk waste or not? And do we then enter into a long-term agreement with Golden? Is that what we're saying?
Two questions, yeah. Does the city take over the yard waste, and do we continue with Golden Environmental?
No, not it, do we? Are we making the decision that we're not gonna, a year from now, this isn't a year test, in my view?
Well, there were some other concessions in there, you know, that are costly.
That's, I think that's what we've got to
Very
give,
costly.
give Pete instruction to get to the table to negotiate through.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna, this isn't kick the can down the road for a year and decide a year from now, well, no, Golden, we're now going with somebody else.
No.
I'm not going
No,
with that.
no.
But that's not
no.
what's the end of the table, I think,
No.
is saying.
What?
Well, I'm saying that after a year, we have to see where we stand.
No,
I mean, I can't say, I'm sure Richard can't say how things are gonna look in a year. I mean, he may have some issues that come up that he's not, you know, he can't predict right now.
But if you'll recall, there was a thought that we wanted to change providers, and the RFPs were received, they've been evaluated. Again, you know, the good news is we're not debating who should be the provider. That's the good news.
For a year.
For 1 year, exactly. I guess my question is, we're wanting to make changes, and it's gonna take Richard and Pete as our city manager negotiating through what those changes are. Many of, you know, I've talked to Richard about several things. He's very receptive to the discussion, but until we get those two to the table, where we can have some very finite information that's satisfactory to both the city and Richard, they may sit down and, you know, say, no, I'm not willing to do this, this can't work, and then we will have to make a decision on a new provider, if
But
that's
we
what they
can,
want to do.
but we could do that now in negotiating a new contract, long-term contract with Richard.
But it's
And
the
leave
startup.
open the yard debris, city involvement in yard debris and that kind of
Well,
thing.
you're
That,
making-
that to
you're-
me.
You're saying the same thing I'm saying, I'm just putting a
Okay,
deadline
but
on it.
that's not what Councilman Sales is saying. And so I would be I would be okay with, but I want to go with a long-term contract in the city. If things don't change in the next year, then the city takes over yard debris and bulk waste. That's what 95% of the problems in my area are, is that right there.
Well, I think
They
we all
have no
agree,
issues
yeah.
with the other, but I don't want this one-year test, and if things don't go, then
Well, then let's
I'm not for that.
amend, I can't make motions, so let me just throw something out that may be a hybrid of what you're proposing and what you're proposing. If we extend the contract with Golden Waste and allow Golden to at least get to the table to negotiate with Pete on the details of that contract, including hiring the manager and all the different things we've talked about, we've got to, at some point in time, we've got to put some measurements of success within that contract. And I know we had talked about the potential of if things aren't done, how do we handle things not getting done? I do think we need a deadline for review of that contract to see, yes, it is working. I think that needs to come from you, Richard, as the provider, and I think that needs to come from the city as the other signer on the contract. There's got to be measurement, there's got to be a way to measure the success of the program. And in my opinion, the measurement of success of the program is our phones quit ringing. That's when we know we'll have done, a decent job. So all I'm asking is, rather than instruct Pete to jump out there and start putting together this new department, it's gonna be very expensive to set up, let's give Golden the opportunity to prove us wrong, in essence, that we need the city to do that. That's all I'm asking. And that deadline would be June 30th, 2020 to evaluate that. So that's kind of a hybrid of both.
I agree,
Both motions.
but let's don't get hung up with this department's gonna be, a lot of money set up. There's money, there is money in trash. Richard's a testament to that. He's in it because he wants to make money, and so, we charge the customers, and I go back to Pete, and I had work numbers. The department will pay for itself. So this thing of all this money, we're gonna put $600,000 out there, and it's just an outlay from the city, true. But we're gonna collect every month from all the residents the same way. So it's just a matter of city doing it, we collect that money instead of paying Richard,
But
we're
he's
paying
already,
the
yeah,
city.
but he's already got the equipment.
So,
He's doing it now.
I agree, but
Well, there'll be
it's
an additional to go to the
gonna be more to go
once a
every
week
week.
service.
Right.
There's actually a truck and a half gotta be added to complete that. Really.
So-
And that's-
And
and
then you don't do
That's
that
up
in
for
your,
negotiation.
and you don't do that in a 4-day week.
Right.
You're on a 5+ week to
Right.
move through the whole city of Tiffin.
Right.
Rush. There's just no way.
I mean, he wants, I remember $7.60 to go every week. We maintain it won't cost the city that to do it. So,
Yeah, because we don't have to add the profitability onto it.
and we're already
Yeah,
picking
Pete,
up these
yeah.
loads.
We
They were already
spent
done.
a tremendous amount of time coming up with these figures. This ain't just come out, overnight.
Can I just decide, this needs to be deciphered very carefully too, because I did the city's numbers on how the garbage companies did their pro forma with our rules, 5-foot piles, what's out there, there wasn't exclusive yard trash or bulk collection. We have an education problem in Tifton, Georgia. So folks, when they put it out, how much to put out, et cetera. So for us to go and get into the business and to do that, let's say every week, where there are any rules or boundaries, I can't do it for $5 a home. It's virtually impossible, and I will lose money every month trying to do that. So we have to have a halfway point, whether Richard does it or whether we do it. We have to have the education, and we have to have ordinances that we have to tighten up some. But most specifically on how you want it collected. If you don't want any rules, and we pick up everything, then that needs to be,
If we,
further discussed.
if the motion, if the city of Tifton can't afford to do it, and do it effectively, and do it, what the numbers that were given to us to look at, then, you have to go back and look at the bids for every week's service, and then that's gonna determine who should get the bid, period.
Well, and that's, you know, if you look at that, if you look at just the strict numbers, and it's just whoever is the lowest bidder, I think that's Ryland, is it not?
That's right.
You're not, and it's not just $1 or $2, this is
So,
actually two.
you know,
Well,
I
you
mean,
have,
if
wait a
that's-
minute, you have to factor in the commercial rates.
Well, I understand
You
that.
can't look strictly at residential. You've got to factor in, you know, compare that 2, 4, 6, 8 yard containers, 375 yard versus 320 yard, 320 a yard. I don't know how many containers I've asked, and nobody seems to know how many containers there are.
We really don't have anything to do with commercial. They set their own prices. We just wanted to use that as the baseline so we could know what to expect. So we really don't have any influence on commercial rates.
And it seems to me if we start our own department, there's a lot of variables there. I mean, what if your drivers are out, you gotta find drivers, you may not have them, what if, you know, people are sick, do we have people that can step in?
Oh, man.
I mean, you know, you're talking about, overtime, you're talking about
No
different
question,
issues.
do we want the city of Tifton clean or do we not?
We do, but I think we need to give Golden Environmental the opportunity to do that. And then if we, you know, we'll know very quickly in the next couple of months. If we're not satisfied, we can always come back and create the department. But I would rather give,
Mayor, I think,
Yeah.
just today, there's 3 incidents, 3 houses on one road. No service, the landlord cleans up the whole yard, yada, yada, yada. If we had something left, when we turn it in Ricky to say, whoever bills them for whatever that is, that's all we got to be able to do. Take a picture and say, your service was cut off on March 8th, you didn't have anything here, here's 2 months later, you've cleaned up the whole thing. Assess whatever, you know.
and that's where this manager person would come in to be that
Absolutely. And that's, you know,
liaison to work.
That's just today,
Yeah,
okay?
But it's the same way with the landlord putting an apartment full of furniture. There should be a charge for that.
And I think once.
Period, regardless of whether they have
once
service or
that
not.
We get over that hump to whoever gets that and say, well, they're for real. Okay, I think that's gonna shift. But we've got, and I can't really.
well, you
I
have
can
no
send it
authority
in
to
to
do
you,
that,
but
yeah.
I can't bill it to them.
No, you have no
know,
authority to
and-
do that.
and me trying to negotiate with them, it just, you know, they think I'm just pulling the wool over their eyes or something. And that doesn't work, but if it comes from the city side, I think, you know, either property tax or on a future water bill or whatever, how, you know, you come up with it, that's gonna solve 90% of all those problems out there.
Fine.
Um,
But we've got to get Pete to the table to negotiate with Richard the details of this contract. All I'm asking is for consideration before we go expend the effort, the money, the everything that's gonna take to start a new department. Let's give our current provider time to to rework that and let's see if we can eliminate that problem. And if not, then we'll come back to yard debris and bulk waste away. That's fair.
Fair enough, I mean,
And then we'll
let's
start
be
the
real.
party.
You know, I'm sitting there doing that for $14.13 till price went up at the landfill, went to $14.89. You see what it went now, $17.80 or whatever it is, that's a 20% increase. It got, you know, and that's not from just cost, that's from the realization of what's doing right this minute. Okay, so there is some proof into the increased charge for sure, and that's reality now.
Right.
You know, and you know, you go look back, we bid that thing, what, 7 years ago? I think it was 18 months before we ever even got to the first contract. So those numbers were already 18 months watered down.
And you know, the hope is, you know, for me, that we're sitting here in June or July of 2020 and everything's going hunky-dory and we don't need to start this separate department.
Then I would say we need to authorize Pete to negotiate a new 5-year contract with Richard with the understanding that the first year will determine whether he will keep yard debris or not at the end of that first year. Then we made the decision.
I don't have
But
a
the
problem.
current motion on the table is for 1 year.
Yeah, 'cause I don't wanna give nobody no 5-year contract no more. I don't care who it is, Richard, Wade, whoever. I don't think the city should give nobody no 5-year contract again, 'cause that's what got us in the mess we are in today, what we talking about here.
Yeah, that's a significant investment if you're only
Yeah.
gonna do it for a year.
Yeah, we've got to
You can't do
respect,
Let-
respect
let-
that.
Let's do this. Let's let the attorney, let Rob look into this but drawing up a contract issue.
Well,
Because
we've
we
got,
all got issues all over town.
well, but we've got a motion and
Yeah.
second, an amended motion and second on the
Yeah.
floor that we've got to deal with. So, you know, and to use, you know, Jack's terms, I don't necessarily want to kick the can, no pun intended, the garbage can down the road any farther. If we can come to some, I don't have a
Agreed.
problem with what you just proposed, personally. I don't know, what y'all's thoughts are. I think that the renegotiated contract would provide provisions for non-performance, is that correct? I mean, that's something
That's something we look
we
at.
hadn't gotten there
Correct.
yet.
Yeah, because this language that you're referring to are in the current contract. So
Okay.
there's certain things that we haven't hit, there's certain things that haven't happened, et cetera,
Right.
et cetera, and have been, we haven't had discussions except via
Yeah.
paper. So if I had to tell you or make a recommendation, I would say a 12-month, that we iron some of these things out, that let's get through that, make sure it's palatable for the city and for Gold Environmental, and then we turn to a long-term contract. But as your manager, I would tell you we can't, I don't think we're in a position to do a 5-year agreement at this particular time.
Okay.
No.
So the motion still
But-
stands
but-
then, in essence.
But you know, to Richard's point, he's gonna have to add some equipment.
Yeah, well, there was new cans there, they're $50 a piece, you know, there's 4,800 out there, you know, that's $250,000 for the cans there.
Trucks to pick
Truck
up
got to
every,
add another truck.
who's gonna do that for
We
you?
got
With the risk
200
that a
got-
year later, he's gonna
You probably
lose.
got $800,000.
We may have to back that down, the expectations for us to put on you, Richard, we may have to back that down, but the only way we do that.
That's part of the negotiations.
And,
There's,
you know,
there's.
and if you want to buy the cans at the end of the 1 year, I'll be glad, you know, we can amortize them over every month and we pay for cans, I mean, that ain't no big deal.
There's ways to create exit strategies if either party.
Absolutely, I mean, you know, I don't have any problem with that. You know, you know, I got to come out whole
Right.
at the end of the 12 months.
All right.
So,
I understand,
and that's-
and I respect that, and I completely understand that. Okay, we have a motion, an amended motion and a second,
Right,
which,
and the amended motion is for Golden Environmental for a 1-year contract, saying from December 19 through December 2020, where he's collecting, you know, yard debris and bulk waste on a weekly basis.
I think that's open to negotiation, because
Okay,
we don't want to put,
all right, so
you
the
know,
motion
more
is,
than we need to,
Negotiations for 1 year.
but for 1 year.
all right,
As
so-
far as the details about pickup and all that.
1 year from now.
June to June or from December? to
December to December, because the contract ends in December.
Okay.
all right, so that would be a 1-year contract with Golden from December 19 to 20 for the collection of yard debris, bulk waste, residential garbage, recyclables, and commercial. Correct?
is commercial included? I thought commercial was not included.
It's just part of the exclusive.
Okay.
So that's my understanding of the amended motion on, you know, to be voted on if you're all through with discussion.
Is everybody clear? All clear? With the motion on the table is?
For 1 year, and then you're gonna potentially go to another vendor. That's what we're saying.
We can't say that.
No?
I said potentially going to another vendor at the end of the year.
Well, I mean, at the end of the year, if Richard may say this isn't working for me, I want to leave. I don't know.
Well,
You know, and if that's the case, then we have no control over that, you know?
But we're saying, that's what we're saying, though. This is an extension, a one-year extension of the contract, and then we'll go through all again of do we stay with Richard to go to somebody else? That's what
But
this
it's not
motion is.
just an extension of the contract. It is a renegotiation of a new
One-year
term
contract.
with new information that's going to help him and help us accomplish the goals of cleaning up the city.
Well, there's quite a bit of negotiation.
Oh, I
You
know.
Any of the things that were put in RFP that, you know, are fulfilled, you know, there's, you know, a monetary consequence there. So, you know, that'll have to be addressed, you know, where.
I mean, for a year, he's not gonna go buy new equipment or new cans, because we're not gonna agree to buy them all at the end of the year. We're not putting that money out.
But you don't know that we would have to. We don't know. I
Well,
mean, we
he's
don't
not
know.
gonna keep them.
Yeah, we need new cans.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, there's some of them, that was, you know, some cans need to be put everywhere. I mean,
That's the language that was in the contract for the last 5 years. So we have to be specific, we have to draw out the things that we haven't achieved yet from the last 5 years, decide that. There's things that Richard and I have talked about, he mentioned a couple of them, the people that are on stop service, et cetera, we need to flush that out too, because that's, I don't want him losing money. So there's things that we haven't fulfilled in the current contract, and we need to iron those out before we go to the next step. It's very, very important that we do that.
So just so I'm clear, Richard, you're foregoing the last 6 months of your current contract to renegotiate a one-year deal, is that right?
well, I mean, we'd have to still be under that same current contract unless we come to some agreement there, you know, in I don't know, what would be 16 months or whatever. You know, if you want to go ahead and move in some of those directions, I think, you know,
Because the motion that was on the table was,
you know,
your contract would begin June 30th.
No, the motion on the table is contract ends at December 31st.
So you're
We're in
saying
it
go
right
a
now.
year, so you're saying go to,
I'm saying a calendar year when, after his contract ends.
for a year, you know, really, I think these issues there, we need to go ahead and get them to the forefront.
No question.
Like, you know, next week,
Yeah.
and go on. you
And
know,
start
about it.
implementing some
I
of the
mean,
things,
that's,
yeah.
would be my,
And this would give us time to do that before the new contract starts.
you know, you know, and if there's latitude there on the language in the contract, on, you know, on the monetary side, you know, I'll, you know, if I made whole, I'm in, you know, good shape. But, you know, yeah, I'm willing to come to the table, there's no doubt.
Right.
And flexible. But some, you know, to move to the once a week on the yard waste and the bulk, additional manpower and additional equipment, no doubt. And the liaison, or whatever you want to call it, to try to, you know, move through the
Facilitate
city and
that.
find others, that's, you know, that's another man.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we can.
And it won't pay for itself in a year. That's
No,
the
it
problem.
will not pay for itself in a
That
year,
is the
but,
problem.
you know, if that's what it takes, and that's where we are, okay, I'm there, okay? It's not like, you know, I'm gonna not have a place for another garbage truck, you know, but it's not that. The yard waste is, you know, it takes 3.5 trucks really every day to do that. So that would be the biggest, even for the city. It's just, you know, just about told each of y'all, that's a task.
Yeah.
And, you know, if we move from the current site out, the east side of town, all the way to Mitchell Store Road, it's gonna cut more than half a route a day, just to make that trip. And I would probably look at some alternative disposal for the yard waste then. Just, it's not gonna make sense to go that far.
Okay.
But, that's, I'm at the pleasure of council.
Is it gonna be at the rates that,
We have to look at the rates, most of those were
Every other week. right?
individual, and some of them, I think Ricky did get some of them that were every week on there, so
Yard
there
trash
are
every
some numbers there that had every week service, so those are there.
so we're talking about an increase of $4 minimum.
Not necessarily,
Unless
depending on what we put in the contract.
unless you negotiate it down from what these rates that were.
If we're talking every week,
Well,
we're not necessarily talking every week.
Well, according to our provider, garbage, it's gonna go up.
I mean,
It's gonna go up
It's
anyway.
gonna go up. Yeah,
there's-
it's
if you
just
look
how-
across the board,
Yeah.
that's what's gonna happen.
It's gonna go up.
Yeah.
And,
And then, the every week, it's just gonna make what you want, the streets clean, that, you got more frequency. Really, I mean, I think that's gonna help.
Let me just shoot some numbers out to you guys. All right, I mean, I'm looking at every service, every week service. If the city of Tifton were to do it, even if we were to do it at, just say $7, I think we could get done for $7 a house, couldn't we? I mean, we said we could do it for $4.50.
but
So
why would we go
it's still
create this
cheaper.
department?
You're looking at cheaper. And then Golden handles the, trash, solid pickup, and the recycling. And then the city of Tifton at $7. I mean, I thought we could probably get it done for 5.5, 5.25.
That's still $6.
But if not, if we went up to $7, you're talking about $19.90, and it's still cheaper than a lot of things that are on the table here. And that's at $7, which I think that wouldn't cost $7 actually. So, I mean, that's just my 2 cents. I think we can do it. That's why I think you give 6 months, and Pete he is not a novice when it comes to trash. He's got experience in that, and Ricky has been doing this job for a very, very long time. And I think you put those 2 people with all the experience that they have together, they could come out with a number that would probably be a lot cheaper than the $7 that I'm talking about, which would overall make the cost of this project going up a lot cheaper than what we're talking about. Richard, we can go ahead and get the new cans and get the new trucks and all the equipment, because we can then go into a longer contract with you. That's just my 2 cents.
Well, you talk about the city manager's experience, but you're not listening to his recommendation. His recommendation is that the city doesn't go back and do this.
Now, the
Doesn't go back and create this
recommendation,
department.
I feel that the recommendation is kicking the can down the road. That's what I feel like the recommendation is. I mean, that's just my opinion. I feel like that these 2 gentlemen that put these numbers together are very well experienced in these matters. I am not. I am very experienced with numbers. And when somebody puts some information above me, and they are pretty confident in their numbers, even if I added a little bit of bluff to that, just to make sure, because you never know if the pile may be 10 foot long, and we go to $7 or $6.50 or $6.75, whatever the number is. I still believe that it's cheaper to go that route, but
I mean, Pete said $4.50 would cover it. I said another 50 cents. It said $5. At $5, if we don't negotiate something with Richard, and I feel like he'll come down if he's not doing yard debris and bulk items, but that's just a thing. We'd go up 99 cents. Well, we could throw 50 more cents in there and say, Pete, get it done for $5.50, and you go up $1.49 to everybody. I don't know if people would complain about $1.49 if they're getting the yard debris picked up every
And
week.
we also made, I didn't copy the council, but I did copy Jack and Pete. If there was a pile that, let's just say a landlord is evicting a tenant that has, a 4-bedroom house, and all the items are on the right of way, the city of Tifton employee, or whoever it may call code enforcement. Code enforcement will turn around, go to the landlord and say, hey, listen, you have this pile of garbage out here. They would tell them when the date of the eviction started. There is a certain amount of period that you have to leave that trash out there, or not, excuse me, I shouldn't say trash, but these people's belongings out there. But you would do that plus 1 day, and then on that next day, the individual could, the property owner could either remove the items themselves, pay the city of Tipton to do it, or else if they decide not to do either, we would pick it up and then we would citate them and take them to municipal court for a code infraction. That would be something that, that would be, have to be an ordinance change. That would have to be something that we would have to go in and change, all of that, but that has been thought out by multiple people.
And we can discuss that. But to me, it makes no sense to start a new city department, spend $600,000, $700,000, hire personnel, buy equipment, when we have somebody who can do that for us, and we can negotiate with them on this and how we want it done. And, you know, this, we have not put enough teeth in some of these things in the current contract. There's issues, as Richard even admits. There's things that just aren't spelled out that clearly. This gives us an opportunity to do that and see if that works for us.
Well, and I get that, Frank, but here's the thing that we've had problems with bulk waste, bad loads, all that good stuff. Mixed piles has been a problem for us. In the case where the city of Tipton's gonna be picking that up, instead of going, you know, hey, Golden, you missed a pile over here on 16th. Well, no, I didn't miss it. They just don't have service. We're not gonna ask him. He's still not gonna pick it up because he's not getting paid for that service. We can't ask him to spend a lot of money, time, energy, and effort for a
Well,
to pick up a property that is not being paid for, and you're not gonna be compensated for it.
and there's another, on these mixed piles and this, really the only thing there to me is the unknown to me is the disposal. I go there, I know there's a pile there, it's gotta go out in the dirt, I mean, Subtitle D landfill, $42 a ton, you know, I'm sitting there, easy 5,000 pounds, so I'm already at $20, okay? So that's, and I don't mind if we say, wants to participate in a bad load deal, you pay disposal, and I'll do the service.
But if you've got your liaison
And,
there to
and
call
we
the
have,
code,
and we've had those, you
Yeah.
know, too, where the city, we've provided the hauling, you know, into the Main Street downtown deal, you know, when they fall under whatever y'all's thing is, we haul it for them, but y'all pay the landfill. So there's, you know, multiple situations, and that's where the bulk of that mixed pile that's construction debris, toilets, you know, that, okay, that's the kicker, is disposal. Oh, that's a, pick it up is relatively easy.
right?
So, flexible there for some, you know, hedging on cost or whatever you want to figure, to clean those up.
All right, we have an amended motion and a second on the table. Is there any further discussion before I call for the vote? Any questions? Any further questions, comments? All right, I'm gonna call for the vote. All those in favor of the amended motion and second that's on the floor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed?
No.
All right,
You knew that was coming.
all right. So your next step will be to get with Richard and begin working through this process. Is that correct? I mean, you'll start that right away?
We could do it.
Okay.
Just so we're clear, the amended motion basically became the main motion now that, you know, it was approved and voted on.
Okay. All right, so you will get with Pete, Pete will get with y'all, y'all will come up with any changes, amendments, extension, whatever we need to do. That will then be presented back to us for approval. Is that the way that will work?
Yes, ma'am.
Will we have that by our next meeting, by our workshop, you think, to at least review, or do you think you'll need more time?
Work session is gonna be tough, but we'll hustle, at least
Okay.
identify the areas. I made some pretty detailed notes about where the problem areas are, and then we can, again, flesh those items out about the current contract, where we sit, so we have that's kind of low hanging fruit.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. All right, now, so let me get my,
We'll take it, I know Bob was here, but the providers that did answer the RFP, all admirable companies, and I wanted to thank them for their work and
yes,
involvement, so.
Yes,
it's a
very
long
much so.
process.
very much so. Okay, the next items on our agenda are all resolutions. These are all for, let's see, I guess we need to take these individually. There's, number 9 is a resolution providing for a new alcohol license for John's Place. I believe that was the one we needed to have the hearing on. Is that correct, Jessica? John's Place, we need to have the hearing.
There was a, yes, there would need to be hearing on this, whether they deny it or table it.
Table.
It'd still be tabled.
Okay, that one will be tabled. Do you need a motion to that effect since we've already approved the agenda? Okay. I'll need someone to make a motion to table number 9 for the alcohol license for John's Place.
Will you table it indefinitely or table it?
Now, it'll be tabled and then we'll send out a citation for them to come to a hearing before city council.
Suppose table it for the next meeting?
Basically, you can just table it,
I thought we have to table it to a certain date.
and we'll set a date for the hearing before city council on that request. You can either approve it or you table it. Those are your two choices tonight. And so when you table it, then within, I don't have it in front of me, within so many days, the city manager will, schedule a hearing before city council.
Okay, I thought we had to table it to a certain date. All right, make a motion to table, the license for John Place, number 1.
Okay.
I'll
All right.
second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Okay. The next item is resolution for providing for an amended alcohol license for Sun Mart. Jessica presented that information to us at the workshop, so if anyone would like to make a motion concerning that.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, the next is also amended alcohol license for Walmart on Fifth Avenue. I believe they had a manager change, so I'll just need a motion to deal with that amendment.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
Frank, and second by Jack. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, the next resolution is for an amended alcohol license for the local, which will be located at 401 North Love Avenue. And again, we talked about that at workshop. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those, any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, and then some housekeeping, a resolution updating the authorized signers for the accounts held at Ameris Bank.
This is just updating signatures. We had outdated names, so this is making sure we're good with banking.
Okay, all right.
Pete, just want to make it clear, we still have checks and balances, we have dual control.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm actually doing the transfers.
So I'll take a motion concerning the authorized signers.
So moved.
All right, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, and the last item under our resolutions is a resolution for the continuation as a certified city of ethics under the Georgia Municipal Association Model Code of Ethics. Pete, anything you need to share with us on that?
Yeah, sorry for not having this. We just came in from GMA. They did give us a due date on this, a quick turnaround. We are a certified city of ethics, so they need a resolution. I believe it was by end of May or June. So if that's your desire, I probably recommend that we do that. And you can see at the tab of what city of ethics, what that means, and obviously very, very clear, but I would recommend us doing that.
In that resolution, we pledge that we serve others, not ourselves, use resources with efficiency and economy, treat all people fairly, use the power of our position for the well-being of our constituents, and create an environment of honesty, openness, and integrity, among other things. So if you so desire, I will take a motion to that effect.
I move that we continue as a certified city of ethics.
Thank you.
Following the code.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Okay. The next item is our board report. We have been filling some of these positions, which is really good. We've sworn 2 new members tonight on two boards. Let's see what we have on file here. Jessica, were you able to get with Ms. Hendricks? I know she wanted to be on Keep Tiff Beautiful. She got
Yes.
her.
I sent her out.
Okay, good. Okay.
The only one, I guess, tonight for reappointment is Solomon Nixon. He vacated, he took a vacancy position, so his term's coming up, so this will be for a full term.
Full term. Okay.
And he's interested in being reappointed. And you can see the Keep Tiff, we also contacted William Kelly with the Public Library, and he no longer wishes to serve, so that will create another vacancy.
Okay. All right, any questions, comments? Do y'all want to take any action tonight on any items? If you're interested in reappointing Solomon Nixon Jr., we could take action on that.
Yeah, I move to reappoint Solomon Nixon Jr. to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And like I said, I do know we have a candidate coming in for Keep Tiff Beautiful. So we would need candidates for the Tree Board and the Tifton-Tift County Public Library Board. How is the library board appointed? We have appointees and the county has appointees? Is that how that works? Okay.
And
Awesome.
on the tree board, I did have Elizabeth Benton that was sent to me by a tree board member, but I will, if y'all, you can make your appointment if you wish, but she is a county resident.
Yeah, I was gonna
but
say
she works at ABAC and
Okay.
is knowledgeable of trees. And
On
stuff.
that particular board, are they required to be city residents to be appointed? I know some of our boards are. I didn't know if that one was or
I
not.
don't know that one off the top of my head.
Can you check and
Check.
see? Okay, thank you. All right, any other questions or comments, suggestions concerning board report? Everybody good? Okay. We'll keep those on the agenda for next meeting and discuss that again at the next meeting. All right, city manager report.
Okay, Mayor, the only item I have, Jeff, if you bring the sign forward, please. This is the only thing I wanted to share with you, Jeff. I know we've talked about a couple signs. We have some illegal dumping on some streets, so this is one of the ones that you suggested.
Oh, look at there.
Looks good, looks good.
Wes woke up on that one, wow.
There it is, so we'll start putting these up, and with the
You
chief.
can't read that, you got a problem.
We'll be okay, so we'll get the word out, and
I still, people are still talking about, especially on social media, that there were kids riding. I just want to remind people, call 911 and report that. I mean, complaining about it on Facebook isn't going to fix the problem. You've got to call 911, report it. They'll dispatch an officer out and deal with it. So that's good. Very good.
that's all I have, thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay, we will go through mayor and council comments, and then we will need to go into executive session for personnel and legal matters. So Wes, we'll start with you. Comments?
Believe it or not, I have no comment.
Okay. Mr. Polk?
Believe it or not, I do have a comment.
Ah!
If you
Lay it
live
out
in-
there.
If what?
If you live it, if you live it, I
And
know
you-
Yeah.
And
got
you
a
listen
comment.
close.
If you live it.
No, social media,
Yeah.
good and bad, but things have been brought up which are an issue. What I'd like to ask Pete to do is to review the street lighting. And I've ridden around trying to figure out, is it only at the corner? Is it sometimes in the middle of the street? There's some areas that are just mighty dark, and dark streets create problems.
I can tell you that.
So-
Because I've asked about it. It's intersections or corners and 500 foot from each other.
Well, the next thing is there something we can do to start? You
Bridging
can't
that
do it
gap.
all,
Yeah.
but is there something that we can do to gradually increase that? And there's some in others. Death, people have gotten paranoid. Now it's, somebody walked through the neighbor's yard and they didn't even know. Well, the next thing, somebody's gonna be shot. If you read the news yesterday, somebody in South Carolina, the man heard somebody at his door, so what did he do? He shot through the door, and it was his 23-year-old daughter that was coming home. I mean, people are just, you know, they're just, really, somebody walks through a yard and they're just all upset, you know, this truck, I didn't know the truck, and they rode down the street. Seriously? I mean, it'd be a real issue. There's some dark areas that I think we need to address. So.
Thank you, and that's a great point. We just did something in the historical district where low lighting, and I'm surprised on the history that I found that way back when the grids were laid out with homes, that the utilities weren't put on the front of the homes. They were always put in the alleyways. So to put street lights out in the front, it's almost impossible because of cost. So having, you know, more lights in the alleyways doesn't really make a difference. So what we did is we identified, I spent many nights just looking at certain intersections in a very, very wide area. And Georgia Power put up 3 new street lights and changed out the old ones because they were at the lowest wattage possible to a high visibility LED. And I would say that it really has made a difference.
It's made a big difference.
In the intersections. Yeah. So where the lights were, the whole intersection's lit up now. In the front of the homes where there's no utilities, it's almost impossible. But where there's street lights, we could certainly look at the dark areas and request Georgia Power and see what wattage they're on the poles. Look at, you know, what's called the Cobra head. We could do a lot of things. I just need to probably have a little more specifics. I'd love to ask the PD to kind of annotate where the dark areas are, where, from their perspective, from night patrol, where do they see issues? I'd love to do that as an exercise because I think it's healthy for us to, you know, to look over and monitor that and increase the visibility.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Frank?
Johnny?
I'm sticking.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just want to reiterate about the DDA. We are having a strategic planning session tomorrow here in the council chambers at 5:30. I'm chairing the strategic planning committee for DDA, and what we're doing is asking some stakeholders and some folks who are interested in downtown development just to come and give us their thoughts about how we proceed and what needs to be done downtown, what improvements, what the future of downtown should look like. Just as we create our strategic plan, we have input from the community. So we'll be doing that. We have a third-party person to come in and do the facilitation. So DDA is not facilitating itself. We're just going to be here listening.
Okay, very good.
And also, I want to give Bruce Green a pat on the back. He had a little reception for the Arts of Black Festival here at City Hall, which was the first time we've done that for the festival. And they were very appreciative of it, and I think that was a good thing to do.
That was a good turnout. That was a very good thing to do. All right. Johnny?
No comment.
No comment. All right. Well, there you go. All right.
That surprised you, didn't it?
I'm so glad, John.
All right, well, I just want to remind everybody that speaking of downtown, and we talked about the partnership with the TIFF Theater is celebrating its 25th year of restoration this year. And Thursday evening at 6 o'clock, the Downtown Merchants Association is hosting a little reception to celebrate the arts in our community and what the TIFF Theater has meant to our community, which is a significant plays a significant role in the arts. And I appreciate your comments earlier that it's just an investment in the betterment of the community. So I hope everyone can come out and celebrate and be a part of that Thursday evening at 6 at the TIFF Theater. And again, want to thank all of our city management staff for your hard work on the budget. I know that takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and so hats off, y'all have done a fabulous job. So thank you for that. And that being said, again, we'll need to go into executive session for legal and personnel matters. So I will need a motion to that effect.
So moved.
All right, is there a second? Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right.
Now, let's see what's going on. You're talking about